I want to take you to the ultimate level of meta with a little demo. So here is truly going meta. See if you can follow this with me. So throughout this episode, I've been using language to speak to you, to communicate about a concept called going meta. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm conscious right now that I'm speaking to you using consciousness, using symbols and language, which is arbitrary, but which communicates certain powerful concepts. So as I'm using language, I'm thinking. And as I'm thinking, my thinking is triggering your thinking through this medium of language. That's exactly what is happening right now. Become conscious of this.
Be mindful of the fact that language is sounds. So, any language that you don't speak, any language that you don't understand, it's just sounds. It sounds like sounds, doesn't it? When you hear someone speak, when you hear two foreigners or a group of people speak a language that you don't understand, it sounds like sounds. It sounds like they're making sounds, funny noises. Why? Because you don't understand, or rather, it would be more accurate to say that um, you don't have a mental formation of the the implied meaning or the supposed meaning of those sounds. So when sounds made in a particular format, because see, what is your vocal cord? Your vocal cord is like a musical instrument. Um, so when you're pronouncing words, what does it mean? What does it mean to pronounce words? So we are communicating here in English right now, right? You understand it because you are adhering by the rules of the English language. So we have created this language for in this instant the English language, so that I can communicate whatever is going on in my head, or whatever I am understanding, whatever my realizations are. I can transfer that to you, so you can also hear, and you know what I'm talking about, because you and me, we are on the same page as far as it comes to understanding the English language. That is how language works. But fundamentally speaking, language is nothing but at least the vocal. When you're speaking a language, it's just it's not even words, it's sounds. You're making sounds. That's why when you hear foreigners speaking a different language that you don't have, that you don't understand, that your mind doesn't have a mental image of, you just hear you just hear sounds. And it feels funny. That's why a lot of languages feel funny, because from your point of view, they're making funny noises, right? And so
I am appearing in this YouTube video. I'm conscious that even though right now, as I'm speaking, I'm sitting here and I am not in a YouTube video, but when you're going to be watching this, I will be in a YouTube video. And in fact, notice that what I am is I am pixels on a screen. So this entire video has been pixels on a screen talking to you about a concept called going meta, using language. But moreover, you can notice that these pixels on a screen are actually just a fragment, a figment of your own consciousness. So actually, this entire time, what's been happening, you might have thought that some human was sitting there talking to you about some concept. Really, what was happening is that a fragment of your own consciousness manifesting as pixels on a screen through this thing we call a YouTube video has been thinking and using language to trigger thinking within you.
let's understand this with a simple example. Let's say, um, while you're watching this video right now, you get drunk. You can watch this video any way you want, right? Let's say you're watching this video while you're high or you're drunk. Let's say you're high uh, you have uh, had a few drinks and you're really drunk, and you don't really know what is going on in front of you. You have played this YouTube video, but you're drunk. You don't understand what this guy is talking about in front of you because you're drunk. So in that same sense, you're going to miss the entire video because you're drunk. So from your the point of view of your from your consciousness, or from your point of view, you didn't capture anything that is said in this video, whether it's you listening to me or Leo. um you didn't capture anything. But the truth is that it's not that you didn't capture anything, but consciousness didn't. um for you, the consciousness was that you were drunk on a Friday evening, and you watched a video where this guy on a white shirt blabbered some nonsense, and this other guy in a black t-shirt blabbered some even more nonsense. You get what I'm trying to say? Because so you didn't understand anything because you were drunk. So from your point of view, there was nothing really said in this video. Um, and what I'm saying is your point of view, that is the ultimate, the fundamental reality, because we are talking about what reality is in this video. We're talking about what is the absolute truth. Um, so as far as absolute, so whenever you want to understand what is something uh, to its absolution, or what is something absolutely, then it means that we are talking about something that's foundational. We're talking about something that's fundamental, that like the baseline, the bottom line. When you see, understanding God is simple. It's so simple that we complicate it, because that's how the mind is. The mind has the ability to complicate it, so it gets complicated in the process. But God is really simple. God is the bottom line. You know, whenever you have watched some debates, whenever you watch some debate on YouTube or wherever, like you're listening, let's say you're listening to a debate in your school or in your college, there's a debate going on a particular topic, any topic, whether it's some political topic or some social topic, whatever. You're listening to a debate. In that debate, a lot of times, these participants of the debate, they because whenever things in the debate, or even in arguments, let's say a group of bunch of people are arguing about some political stuff, right? Or something random political stuff. um, when things get really heated in that argument, you will see that someone randomly comes up and says, the bottom line is. Why do you think people say that in that situation? They talk about the bottom line. What does that mean? It means that they're trying to, because the argument has got so heated and so complicated, that in that argument, see, the point of any argument is to understand the truth. Whenever you see a bunch of people arguing, what you might realize it or not realize it, but if you're being conscious, what they're really trying to do is they're trying to understand the truth in that particular situation. So that is the objective of any argument, even if that argument is violent, even if that argument leads to people pulling out guns, let's say. Because when unconscious people argue, they pull out guns and they kill each other, or they pull out knives or swords. I mean, they resort to violence. Because, uh, yeah, so not gonna deviate too much in that direction. But the point is, See, see what I did right now? The point is means what? That I'm talking about the bottom line. Because in even in this moment, see, this is why people miss God, or people don't understand what God is. Because God is so fundamental and it's so simple that when you try to talk about it, you can bring a lot of things into it, and you will miss God in the process. You will understand nothing, and you'll be like, "Huh." what is God? I mean, this guy talked about God for an hour and I didn't understand or capture anything. It's because God is very simple. It it is I can point towards God. I can say like this is God, but you have to have the ability to see it. The ability to see is basically intelligence. But again, not getting deviated too much. I'm going to stick to the point. When people argue, right? They want to understand the truth of a particular situation. Now, whenever things get heated, someone will come up and say, now the bottom line is this, the bottom line is that. Because so what they're trying to do is they have realized in that situation unconsciously. Uh, they don't realize it, but unconsciously they're doing it. They unconsciously they know unconsciously they don't know, but just hear me out, okay? Unconsciously they're trying to bring back the focus of the argument or the debate to the to what they were talking about, to the pursuit of truth, which is the point of any debate or argument. Like I said, like already I said like 5 times, right? But see, that's the problem with communication. God can be explained. What God is, it can be explained, even if it's very difficult because it's so simple and so subtle that it's very difficult to explain it. But a master communicator can do that to you. And because you see, like I am clearly very bad at like, all right, I, I'm not gonna lie, but fine, I'm okay, fine. I think I'm decent at communication. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you want to understand God, you have to listen to someone who has mastered communication. Communication is a skill. It's also considered an art form, but really it's a skill. So anybody who has like mastery in that skill, only that person can describe what God is.
And you are not a human speaking to yourself. You are the universe speaking to itself. The universe now, as it is talking, is.
See, I'll give you a few pointers when it comes to this question of what is God. If you focus on these pointers, it'll be easier to understand. It'll be easier to understand what God is. Um, when you go to sleep, where are you? Ask yourself this question. Contemplate on this question. Just ask yourself. These big jargonish words, they don't do us a lot of good. People, when people think about God and stuff, people think like you have to be some kind of a genius to understand it. No, not really. I mean, it's so fundamental that anybody can understand it. But because God, the concept of God, or what God really is, I mean, when you hear the word God has been corrupted because nobody understands it. So it has corrupted and lost its sense of meaning. So God is so simple. I'll give you a few pointers. God is simple, but it cannot be directly explained because God is. So if you think about, um, like universe as this, this concept of sets and subsets. So God is the ultimate big boss. He's the big shot, or he like whatever. God is and eh, it. God is it. So God is the superset, and everything comes under it. So human consciousness is a subset of God. So to understand God from the human consciousness, you get what I'm trying to say. It's it's challenging, but but then again, it's possible because see, even this explanation that I gave you, this rational explanation of the superset, God being a superset and human being, this entire concept of superset and subset, this is, by the way, this is also a human concept. So to understand God, you have to go beyond the human self. So like I was talking about, the concept of or the pointer to what God is. When you go to next time, just think about it. When you are sleeping, when you're deep asleep, so how do you sleep? When you go to bed at night and after some time you fall asleep, right? And then the next thing you know. So really what happens is when you go to sleep, um, observe this. let's say you sleep for 7 hours or 8 hours, right? You lie down on your bed, you close your eyes, and you start thinking about stuff. Maybe you're checking your phone once in a while. And before you know it, sometime late in the night, you, um, but see, this is what really happens when you sleep. You go to bed, and really the next thing you know is you open your eyes and it's the next day. I mean, if you're being honest with yourself, the period of like you were sleeping for 7, 8 hours, how do you know that? Because you see the clock, see the sun is up, your alarm rings, right? Whatever your phone says, it's in the morning. But the period of sleep, 7 to 8 hours, that if you're being honest with yourself, that's actually imagined. Um, I know it sounds funny. Even to me, it sounds funny because um, it's it's so it's difficult to explain. True, but I'm trying my best here. Uh, I'm trying. See, the challenge here is that I'm trying to explain something that's beyond human communication, and I'm using human communication to explain it. So, but I'm trying my best because I see this is something that that I'm most passionate about. So you can clearly see. I mean, I I am extremely passionate. I'm frankly speaking, I feel like if a human life is lived, um, not pursuing God. I mean, see, you have this life, right? You're obviously a human. I mean, I hope you're a human watching this video. I hope, I mean, why not? I mean, you can be an alien or something, or maybe you're an AI listening to this video. I mean, AI is real right now. So it could be an AI listening to this video. Or maybe it's an alien, because you hear all these UAPs and UFOs on the news right now. Um, so, anyways, jokes aside, uh, you listening to this video, I forgot my thought. Like, uh, I was gonna say that, man, I lost my chain of thought. Uh, God is a tricky concept. Mm, uh, yeah. So, like I was saying, like this is my belief that see, you're a human. You can live your life any way you want, right? But if you're not living your life in uh focused on the pursuit of God. Like if you, at least deep down in your mind, if you're not focused, if your ultimate aim of life is to not pursue or to not realize God or not to not find God, then it's in some sense it's a life wasted. Because see, I'll tell you, the point of life is to realize what God is to understand what God is, and yeah, so that's that. Um, what I was saying about that sleeping thing. So when you're sleeping, you have this construct that you sleep at night, but it's kind of like you disappear, like as in the human disappears. When I say you, I mean the human. Um, it kind of is similar to death. When you go to sleep at night, and you go to sleep at night, you wake up the next day, right? But really, what happens is you close your eyes. And the next thing is that you know is that you open your eyes, and let's say if you, though this is the situation if you don't dream, but if you dream, then that's a different story. That's like you lie down and you have low energy, and you close your eyes, and before you know, you start dreaming, and you dream lots of stuff, random stuff, where and in your dreams this sometimes physics is there, sometimes physics is not there, sometimes the laws of the universe operates. See, how do you define your dream? It's just wild, right? Dreams have no rules in the consciousness of dreams, in the universe of dreams. There are no rules. Dreams are random, abstract. A lot of times, most of the times, A lot of times, dreams are like a like a mixture of abstract and concrete, waking consciousness, that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's very concrete and uh, realish or something. But if you don't dream, then really what happens is you close your eyes at night, and the next thing you know is you're waking up, and you have this abundance of energy, and you suddenly you just open your eyes and you're awake, or maybe you hear your alarm ring and you're awake. But it's important. If you see this is a pointer. Like I said, it's a pointer. If you think about it, it will help you understand your true nature. Forget the word. See, when you're trying to understand what God is, the first thing that you have to do is to forget the word God. The word God is a human-made word. It's not important. It doesn't matter what we call the ultimate truth as. We can label it as God. We can label it as this, that, whatever. But forget the word. The word is just a random. It's an English word or whatever. I don't know about the origins, but the word is a random word. The important thing is to understand what we are trying to talk about here. The word is just a pointer, by the way. Using the word is a pointer. So I'm giving you another pointer is like think about when you go to sleep. The objective here, what we are trying to do here is we are trying to understand the truth, the absolute truth, or what true nature is, or what who you are really, like your true nature. Uh, See, what do you think you are? Most will say that I'm a human. Most humans will say that, yeah, I'm a human. But see, why do you think people wonder what God is? Well, generally they think of like who created this universe and stuff. That's how the thought process or the line of thinking. That's how it begins. But if you ask like who am I, like you will say that you're a human. But even like to say you're a human, does that mean that what is human? The body and the brain. So that's it. You are a biological body and a brain. Sure, you can think you can say that's truth. And see, the the weird and the funny thing about truth is whatever you truly believe the truth is, that is kind of that's the truth. But see, if you're not convinced that the body or the brain is that's it, like there's nothing beyond that, then uh then that's not the truth. I mean, if you're see, truth is funny, and truth is very difficult to explain. As you can see, I'm struggling here, but the point is that if you like I said, truth is funny in the way that whatever you believe, that becomes your reality, and that is truth. uh, but uh, but believing is something, and being directly conscious is something. um, it's tricky though, and like what Leo is talking about in this example, yeah, so self communication, yeah, like even in this, you might be thinking that you're listening to a video, but the truth is that you're self communicating. Now you, but when we're saying you, obviously we're not talking about you as a human. You, the human, is obviously listening to another human, and through this technology that is YouTube and internet. But the truth is that this is your consciousness. See, everything is you. Everything that your consciousness, everything that you're conscious about. What is that? That's you. Uh, See, when you look at your um, when you look at your cat, right? When you look at your cat or your dog, let's say you have pets, you have a cat or a dog. When you're petting your cat or your dog, what is that? You so see, it's very easy to say because this is what our culture has taught us. This is how we keep the whole story that we are humans, and we are this is a human civilization, and we are the species, the Homo sapiens, and we are ruling this planet. And next thing we know that we're gonna go to Mars and colonize Mars. This whole thing is, you, you have to understand that it's a story. Um, I know it's great. I'm not see. I'm not out. I'm not denying that it sounds that it doesn't sound crazy. Obviously, it does. See, I'll tell you a thing about brainwashing. If you go to uh um ter- like the terrorist groups, like the radical Islamic terrorist groups like ISIS um and Al Qaeda or whatever. They get brainwashed about their worldview, right? They from since they are kids, they are being taught that this is right and this is wrong. Islam is the right way, and everything else is anyone who doesn't follow Islam, or they are non-believers, or they have their words for that, right? Kafirs and stuff. So from their point of view, if see, imagine yourself, you were not born in a civilized society, but rather you were so unlucky that you were born. See, lucky, unlucky, that's not the point. But the point is, I'm trying to say that if you're born as a in Al Qaeda, or in the ISIS, right? You will obviously grow up with the belief system that everything is Islam is the ultimate truth, and you are under that, right? Now I'm using Islam as a example here. I have nothing else. There's no other agenda, obviously. But the point is, like, this is how brainwashing works, right? So we know that from our point of view, we can see that the people in Islamic countries, they are brainwashed by Islam. Now, who is to say that we have not been brainwashed by our current culture and society? If you are living in California, you might feel that I'm not brainwashed. Obviously, I grew up studying science and studying the biology and physics, right? But who is to say that that is biology and physics? Those are the uh, uh, ultimate models of reality, or the ultimate understanding of reality. We can say that those are models of reality, right? But who's to say that that is what reality is? See, models of reality, like they say, right? The map is not the territory. So who is to say that science is the territory? We can say that science is a map. Science, the map that a useful a tool. What is a map? A map is a tool that is used to for you to navigate to different areas in a particular geographic location, to understand how a map can be used to understand how big an area is, how small an area is. Map is used for measuring geographic locations. So a map is useful if you want to know, like, how far is the coffee shop from your place, or how much time it will take for you to drive to that movie theater, right? So it's a tool, but that doesn't mean that the map is actually the actual place. The map is a model of the place. The model is not the actual place. The actual place is the actual place. Now, how do you so similarly, in that understanding of the map and the real place, kind of, what is it called? Is it called corollary? I don't know. But in that metaphor, let's say the map metaphor, um, if you want to understand now what God is, um, it cannot be really understood. But you have to, in a way, become God, right? You have to be God to understand. Like, I don't know if you have seen this meme on the internet. It's not that popular, but I found it really useful to understand or explain this kind of a concept of God. So there's this guy. He made this is an Instagram reel. I saw it there. He made a video about, like, how his cat saw a caterpillar, and the next thing you know is that the cat is observing the caterpillar, and this guy is giving a voiceover over the reel. He's saying, like, he's explaining what the cat is doing, and he says, like, the cat is observing the caterpillar to understand what the caterpillar is. But then the next you see is that the cat is wriggling. The cat has lied down, and the cat is lying down on the whatever, ground and um, pretending and trying to wiggle or wriggle like a caterpillar. And he's doing that. And the guy is recording it with his phone. He's doing that. The cat is wriggling like a caterpillar. Now this guy in his voiceover, he says, "So now my cat realized." It's really funny, but my cat realized that in order to understand the caterpillar, you have to become the caterpillar. But that is, if you understood what I'm trying to say using um, that reel, I mean, whatever, like whatever I saw there, then you will understand what God is. Like to understand God, what how do you understand something? You become it, really. You have to embody it, or you have to become that, really. There's no other way to explain it. Honestly, there's no other way to explain it. You just have to realize it. You have to realize it for yourself. And it's possible. And see, now some myth busters. I'll give you a few myth busters about God. Myth number one: God is this like whatever people think, like God is this profound, amazing, big thing. No, God is so basic. God is so basic and fundamental that you'll miss it. It's because God is so basic. God is more mundane than your. God can be compared like taking a shit in your toilet. It's so basic. You wake up in the morning, you go to the bathroom, and you take a shit. That shit, taking a shit, is like becoming God. It's so simple. I'm just using this as an example to understand, to explain how simple God is. The simplicity is not being focused. And even our Mr. Leo Gura from actualize.org. See, I have been listening to actualize.org for a long time. And see, I don't know, this is my understanding or this is my opinion, but actualize.org kind of deviated from what it was meant to be, I guess. I don't know. But because in actualize.org, Leo discusses God, but then as time went by, he shifted his discussions into, he brought a lot of politics into it, and he doesn't like Donald Trump, and he brought in a lot of human stuff, mundane, everyday life, human politics, and whatever celebrity stuff. He brought a lot of that into the discussion. Um, I just somehow feel that actualize.org kind of lost its essence in its entire. Like, I felt like actualize.org should. Now, obviously, Leo Gura is the owner and the founder of actualize.org. So he knows what he's doing. At least I can assume that he knows what he's doing better than what I think he's doing, because he's the founder and the owner of the company and the brand. Um, but I feel that actualize.org took a wrong direction. It is kind of doing the same thing that religions have done, and what spiritual leaders, like what Osho did, and whatever. Like how Osho wanted people to become conscious, raise it. What was Osho trying to do? Osho was trying to make Osho was trying to raise the consciousness of common, ordinary human beings. And in the process, he created a cult, and it became scandalous. Lots of stuff happened, even though a lot of stuff is being framed as a very negative thing. If you have watched that documentary, right, Wild Wild Country, that was made popular by Netflix, that was such a uh, like, even though I have not fully, I've watched, I think, first two episodes or something, but it's not the truth. If you have no idea about Osho, and if you hear about him through that documentary, you're going to get a very wrong, misinformation version of the person. That is kind of what happened with actualizer.org, I would say. Uh, the same thing, like this stuff happens whenever someone tries to take this whole God, the notion of God, and to understand what human to understand what the universe is or what reality is. Whenever people try to discuss about these profound stuff, and somehow people, it all gets corrupted because this is the nature of the ego, obviously. I mean, the nature of ego, or the point of ego, is to corrupt different aspects of reality. um See, I'm while I'm recording this video, I can hear someone on the next. I live in an apartment, so in the next door, in the apartment, noisy neighbors. They're fighting. The neighbors are fighting. Um, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's also a way for the ego to distract itself, to understand what truth is. Because see, why do people not understand God in modern society, or as we become more postmodern and as we become more technologically advanced, why is there such a thing as like things like we are getting, people say like we are moving away from God, like how, why, how really religious people, they say, right, the modern people, they're forgetting God, they're moving away from God. See, even though religion is not a true understanding of God, or maybe it depends. I mean, how you look at religion, or how you interpret the religious texts and whatnot. But a lot of religious people don't really understand what God is. But the point is that when they say like people are moving away from God, they're true in that. When they say that, they're actually true, because modern society is full of distractions. Um, if you follow actualize.org, you will also have come across this video titled "Distraction: The Ego's Favorite Defense Mechanism." That is very true. We are surrounded by so many distractions, especially in an age of technology where we have um, virtual reality, we have artificial intelligence, which can be big distractions if you're not focused on God, if you're not focused on understanding what reality is. Again, I say, forget the word God. God is just a word. That's it. God, really, God. People see what people think is God is separate to them. People don't religious. The problem with religious people is that they don't understand that they are God. They they treat God as a separate entity, the creator of the universe. But God really is I'll tell you the truth in one single sentence. This is the way I understand and how I look at the truth. See, when people try to understand God, I'll tell them this simple thing. Humans are a figment of imagination of God. God is imagining humans. It's not that humans exist, and the question is, in your human consciousness or your human point of view, which God has created, you're thinking like whether God exists or not. The truth is, the question should be, for if you're conscious beyond your human self, the question should be whether humans exist or not, really. Because God is envisioning. What is the word envisioning? God is envisioning everything. This is a vision. What you see in front of you is an imagination that God is dreaming. God is deep asleep, and God is dreaming. And in this dream, there are humans, and there are other things. There are animals. There are aliens. I don't know, because it's a dream. Anything can come up in a dream, right? So in this dream of God, which is so structured, especially in this particular consciousness of the human life, it's so structured, and there are laws of physics, and there are biology. There is biology in the dream, and which is all true. See, science. I'm not saying. See, you have to understand that religious people deny science, right? Religious people that say that science is not real. No, that is why nobody takes religious people seriously, because they just they outright say that science is not real. That is not the truth. The truth is that science is real. Obviously, you can see, real. You could see. You can if I drop this glass of water right now, it'll break. The glass will break, right? It will hit the ground and the glass will break. And why that does that happen? Gravity, which is science, right? Simple. Science exists, but the truth is that science is a subset. Science is a model. You have modeled reality. It's a way, like I say, it's a way of looking at things. Science is it's like this glasses. Like it's a lens. You're wearing a lens of science and you're looking at something. Um so yeah, it's true. Science is true, but its truth is valid in the relative category. Science is true, like like the sun rises from the east, kind of thing. See, honey is sweet, right? Universal truths. Honey is sweet. The sun rises from the east, stuff like that. Or see, honey is sweet, right? Sun rises from the east. But these are all relative truths. Sun rises from the east, from the planet Earth. You have labeled that the upper side is north, the bottom is south, this is east, and this is west, and the sun always rises from the east. Yeah, that's true. If you're on the surface of the earth, if you're on the surface of the moon, then sun might not rise from the east, right? Or if you're looking at sun from the International Space Station, then where does the sun rise from? See, these are all exactly like that. Now you might say no, but the science is absolute because the laws of physics is applicable anywhere in the universe. It's it's applicable as far as our observable universe is considered. Like you know how they discovered the James Webb, right? James Webb telescope. And if you look through that telescope, you're now able to see more of the stuff, more bigger. Like you can see farther in the universe. Obviously, you can see farther in the universe. So all I'm saying is science. Like so, this is a product of science, the James Webb telescope. This is all happening in this dream of God. This all rationalizing, sciencifying things. This is all scientification, rationalization of something is there. See, what you see in front of you is vision. That's it. Doesn't matter if you look through the James Webb telescope or some random whatever Alexander Graham Bell telescope. You're gonna see something else through that telescope. All I'm saying is whatever you see, it's all just vision. That's it. That's it. If you so what about a blind person? So a blind person cannot see anything, right? If a blind person looks to the James Webb telescope, what will a blind person see? He or she will say like, I can't see anything. So obviously he can't see anything to the James Webb telescope because he's blind. Now what will science say? Oh, he's blind because if you look into his brain, um there's no connection from his eyes, like the nerves from the nervous signals. Like how do you see something? You have nerves in your eyes, right? Like which can sense the image that is falling on your retina, and that brain is like the nerves are sending all the neural connection or the neural interpretation of that image to your brain, and that is how you see an image. But all I'm saying is that is the scientification I'm talking about. Yeah, you can see that. Sure. I'm not denying it. If you open my brain right now, you can see what science says. And any scientist can say, yes, I told you, man. See, uh, this is how science became even more of a problem than religion. Because see, the bullshit of religion, you can point out. You can say like, huh, God, huh, they're talking about where is God? You cannot see God. Like, see, the bullshit of religion can be pointed out easily. Like, oh, you cannot see God or whatever. Like, Jesus Christ, was he even real? Or then where is it? Like, we don't have any substantial proof or something like that. Or something like anyways, but the point is that science, the I wouldn't want to call it bullshit because that will see, we are humans. What is the difference between human and AI? See, AI doesn't have they don't have any emotional response triggered to them. A lot of scientists don't want to listen to um mm, like criticism of science because ultimately scientists are also human beings, right? They have emotions, and they are very passionate. Why do scientists become scientists? Because they're passionate about science, right? Now, when you're passionate about something and you have been doing it for, let's say you're a passionate musician, and I tell you that, music is bullshit and I don't like music. What do you think how do you think you're gonna react? You're gonna react in a very negative way, right? You're gonna treat me as your enemy, and you're gonna look at me in a very negative way. The same thing happens with scientists when you hear criticisms about science, because that's absolutely understandable, because they are human beings and they get that emotions triggered. But the emotional trigger will distract you from the reality. Who Reality doesn't give a shit about your emotions. That's the problem. That's why artificial intelligence is being labeled as more intelligent than human intelligence. Why? Because human intelligence have a lot of these emotional baggage and our childhood traumas. AI doesn't have childhood trauma. Is that news for you? I mean, so obviously AI is going to be more efficient than us and at understanding things at a deeper level, because they don't have emotional trauma. They don't AI doesn't have daddy issues or mommy issues. They The only issues they have is how far they have, like, modeled the algorithm, or how limited their machine learning abilities are. That's their only limitation. The better their machine learning abilities become, the more limitless their intelligence will become. And maybe in the next 10 years, when we have to understand what absolute consciousness or infinite consciousness is, or God is, what reality is. When you have these questions, AI will be much better at explaining, because AI can have a better communication skills than a human has. Truth, like, that's true. AI can develop better communication skills. Absolutely. Why do you think it's not? Because, like, communication skills is just a skill. I am making sounds. That's it. So AI can make these sounds. Right now they can. No, you might tell that obviously you can tell someone, like, if this is an AI talking or a human talking. That is now, dude. That's like AI is just new. AI is in its baby stage. But in the next 10 years, you won't be able to tell, like, if this is AI talking or a human talking, because they can um speak like a human, so, like, they will be able to so accurately speak like a human that you will just feel like, whatever, I can't tell anymore if this is a human or an AI. Uh, but see, the point of God, see, now this is how tricky God, or the concept of God, is. Um, See, it's not really tricky. It's just that everyone cannot understand what I'm talking in this video. You have to have a certain um, level of intelligence to understand what God is. Now, the funny thing about intelligence is that, from my observation, I can tell you, people think that intelligence is a fixed ability that everybody has. Some people are less intelligent, some people are more. I don't think that's true. I think that intelligence, because when I was younger, I, now you might say, like, yeah, obviously, when someone is younger, they are less intelligent. But maybe intelligence is a skill. Intelligence can improve, because intelligence, um, if you do consciousness work, if you meditate, if you journal, if you have taken DMT or any other psychedelics, even though I haven't, like, get that out of your mind. Like, it's not like I'm not criticizing or judging. Obviously, I don't, but I just want to state for the record that I haven't taken any DMT, even though I have done marijuana. I've smoked marijuana multiple times, several occasions, and I have gone to spiritual retreats. I have done meditation and stuff. But the point is that um, if you if you do consciousness work, your intelligence kind of increases, in my experience, frankly speaking, because I think that intelligence is parallel. It runs parallel to your level of consciousness, and consciousness, you can expand your consciousness when, if you meditate, you know this. Whenever I stop meditating, I can feel that my consciousness getting restricted and refined, not refined, my consciousness getting limited, and I come down to the human consciousness. But the moment I continue by daily meditation practice, even like when you meditate for an hour, let's say you have a good meditation session. When your meditation session ends, you kind of see, right? You're kind of high, right? Meditation gives you a high, right? It's kind of it's not as extreme high that you can get easily from smoking marijuana or taking some psychedelics. Um, uh, but uh, but meditation, see, any substance or meditation, they do some tinkering with your brain chemistry, and you, or the consciousness, which was limited to a human self, it expands. It goes beyond human, or it goes meta or something, right? Uh, so you consciousness now, from my observation, what I'm saying is consciousness runs parallel. Intelligence and consciousness, they're parallel. So in that sense, if consciousness expands, intelligence also expands. And I can tell you from I'm telling you this from my own experience. Yeah. So when consciousness expands, intelligence expands, and so your ability to understand increases. So uh, people in war-torn countries. Example. Now, examples are important to understand. See, examples are what? Examples are models. Like science. Science is a model. Every model can be used to understand reality. Models, what is the purpose of models? The purpose of models is to, why do we create models? We create models to understand the reality of something, or to understand the entire thing, the bigger thing, right? We create miniature models of city planners, people who are planning a new city, right? When they're planning like how they're going to build that city, or how many how many roads they will need, where they're going to build the roads, and where they will build the parks and the buildings and everything. They create models of that city that they're planning, right? They create those models on maybe some software, or they create physical models, and they discuss like, okay, so we're gonna here we're gonna build the park, here's gonna be the factory, and here's gonna be the shopping mall, here's gonna be the roads, we're gonna pull a bigger road from here and side alleys from here. So the purpose of model is to understand how the real thing. So yeah. Now reality. Now, what I was saying is that I forgot. See, that's the thing. You're limited by your the current state of your consciousness, right? For example, I right now, while I'm making this video, I am limited by the current state of my consciousness. Um. So yeah, I mean, see, the thing about God is you have to realize it yourself. But the reason I'm making this video is that there are couple of reasons, or there are a few reasons why I'm making this video. First of all, if you have been watching my channel, if you have been watching my previous videos, I kind of felt into that trap of politics, and because I like to discuss politics, so I'm kind of find myself passionate about politics, and I like discussing that stuff. So recently, the United States had the elections, and I was kind of mentally, and my consciousness was more focused on the politics, and with Donald Trump coming into power, and Elon Musk and Donald Trump and all that stuff, right? Um, so this is kind of a distraction from the ultimate big picture of what reality is, which is my ultimate goal in life. And I feel like, um, see, if you have your finances figured out, um, if anybody, whoever, like, this is my general understanding. If you have your finances figured out, um, then everybody should be interested in consciousness work, really, because there's really nothing else to do. I mean, you're gonna be bored. I mean, what are you gonna do if let's say uh you make a lot of money? What are you gonna do? You're gonna play video games. You're gonna, yeah, sure, you can travel the world. You can meet different people, and you can do a lot of stuff. You can have sex with amazing people, the really beautiful people. If you have a lot of money, it's very easy to do that. You can travel to exotic locations. You can have fun, you can have, sure, 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 yeah, yeah, that's all great. But see, the thing is, I feel that even I want to do all of that, right? But the thing is that I feel that at the end of my life, when I'm old, let's say I live a full life, assuming that I'm going to become old and die when I'm, let's say, 80 years old. If I don't do any kind of consciousness work, I feel like would have wasted. See, this human life, um, sure, you can have fun. See, you can party every day. Let's say you think that the best way to live a life is to party every single day. You can party the rest of your life, right? But I feel that if you do that, at the end of your life, you're gonna feel that you kind of wasted your life. And I just don't want to waste my life. I want to utilize my life for something meaningful, or something uh, that was meant to be, or that's worth it. Now, I'm not like, please don't feel bad about, like, if you, I don't know, like, many people have many obligations in life. Maybe you have financial obligations. See, most people have financial obligations in their life. They have to make money, that whatever, like, I just don't want to make anybody feel wrong, or like bad in any way. But the see what I'm l- just basically what I'm trying to say is, like, um let's say you have figured out your finances. Let's say you have enough cash flow where you don't need to worry about money. See, if you're in a stage in life where you don't have to worry about money, I'm going to say that maybe consciousness work is the most valuable thing you can do for your life, and to understand who you really are, your true nature, that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm making this video, because I just want to add to the, see, I feel like consciousness should be as popular as Marvel movies, or everybody's waiting for GTA 6, right? People are waiting for the next release of the Grand Theft Auto series. I feel like people should be equally excited about whenever somebody makes a video about a consciousness, or reality, or awakening, you know, or God. People should be equally excited, if not more excited. Because, see, what is more exciting? A video game or God? Like, really, what is more exciting? Your next Marvel movie is more exciting, or realizing that you are God? Which is more exciting? I would feel like realizing that you are God, which is means that you are unlimited, really. And it just means that you are immortal, even. Realization of those things are more of a fun or awesome, right? It's more awesome to realize you're God than to play GTA 6 when it comes out, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it feels like that. But the truth is that nobody cares about consciousness, because consciousness is, it's um more difficult to understand, or something. I don't know. I mean, for me, honestly, I mean, it's because I'm passionate about it. That's why it's easier for me to understand, relatively easier. But I don't know. Anyways, It's a 5-minute video. I'm gonna shut up. But see, this is the thing about the consciousness and stuff, right? Whenever you want to discuss God, or whenever you want to understand God, and you go to YouTube and you watch someone, see, these kind of videos are going to be long. It has to be, because we are talking about something that's infinite. We are talking about something that's beyond us. So obviously, to understand something that's infinite, um, the length of the video is also going to be infinite, right? But the fact that we're making a 1 hour or 2 hour video about it, it's nothing. I mean, because we're talking about God, right? God is, people have, so Bible has how many versions? The Bible has the Old Testament, the New Testament. I don't know how many modified version, or this, that version of the Bible. I don't even know all that stuff. Quran. There are so many books in the Vedas. In Hinduism, they have their Puranas and Vedas. Buddhists have their own books and scriptures. So there are so many thousands of religions, really. What are all those religions talking about? Really, what they're talking about is God, right? So you can understand, see, because they're writing about God. So obviously, they're going to have thousands of religion, thousands of books, maybe millions of books, right? that will obviously happen because we're talking about something that's infinite, that's beyond our human self. So a 1 hour video is nothing. You're gonna understand probably not. And the point is that it's not even about understanding, or rather, if you think that you're gonna watch a 1 hour video or 2 hours video on YouTube, if you think you're gonna watch the both the parts that Leo made, what is God in part one, part two, even though those are Leo is amazing at is as far as his explanation goes, like it's something else. It doesn't matter how many videos you watch. It's all about like whether you are meditating or not, or whether you're doing the work. Like Leo says a million times, right? Leo Gura says this a million times. It's about like whether you are doing the work or not. Really, is that what it all boils down to? So yeah.
You, the universe is telling you that you are God dreaming up this life and this very moment. This room that you're sitting in, that you think of as a physical room, is actually a dream. Your entire life is a dream. Your childhood is a dream, and the ideas you have of your death is a dream. This, everything you're experiencing right now, what you are is God. God talking to itself. God being God. God going meta in order to tell itself to wake up to the fact that it is God. That's what God is God is a universal movement of self-awakening, which is happening in you right now if you are conscious and going meta along with me as I am speaking, because actually I am you and you are me. And if you can recognize that, you're awake. Do you get it? Ta-da! That's powerful stuff. A powerful mind is one that can do this. One that can become infinitely self-aware, able to go meta on any finite part of itself. And when a finite mind is able to go infinite.
Now, see, a powerful mind is something that anyone can harness. You can, like I said, it's a skill. Intelligence is a skill. It's parallel to consciousness. The more consciousness work you do, the more powerful the mind becomes, which is there's only one mind. See, only God exists. Everything else is imagined by God. Everything else is an imagination of God. But the reality is that only God exists. And so there's only one mind. And the more consciousness work you do, the human that is you, the more consciousness work that you do, the the closer you're gonna come to God. Closer you're gonna come to God means closer you come to you're gonna come to becoming your true nature, that is God. And and the you can harness that power. Uh, there's one intelligent being, that's God. You're tapping into the your ability to tap into that singular intelligence is how much consciousness work you have done, really. The more you do, the more, see, it's easy. If you cannot meditate, just if you live in a first world country, congratulations, go smoke some DMT. It's so easy for you guys. I mean, I don't live in a country where I can access DMT so easily. So hence I meditate. Even though like you shouldn't rely on psychedelics altogether, maybe, I don't know, like I don't know too much about psychedelics, honestly, because I have never really done. I don't haven't have never even done mushrooms. I have never even done psilocybin mushrooms. I feel like if I do that, I'm gonna be awake the minute I do mushrooms. I feel like my consciousness has reached a point, but through my meditation journey and my the all the spiritual work that I've done, in my life so far. I feel like I'm gonna awaken the minute I do some psilocybin mushrooms and the minute I do DMT. But the thing about awakening is that awakening also comes and goes. It's it's real. The realization that you're God, it can happen, but then you're gonna come down from that to your human self, because it's not permanent. People think that people awaken, enlightened spiritual beings. Oh, Sadhguru is enlightened. End of story. If you watch different videos of Sadhguru, you will, if you have, just observe next time when you're listening to Sadhguru, every video of his, you will feel like Sadhguru's intelligence level keeps upping and dropping, give up and down. In some videos, he's more intelligent. He appears to be more intelligent than his other videos. That is other videos. So, see, there's something like a baseline consciousness, which is kind of permanent. But the ups and downs of consciousness is fluid. Consciousness is not a stable thing. So, any person who is enlightened, and that's it, they became permanently enlightened. There's no such thing as permanent enlightenment. People, people become more conscious, and in few years, the consciousness is like it's a, you know how they call the neuroplasticity of the brain. Consciousness is kind of like that. It is malleable. It's not rigid. Consciousness is, it's infinite, but it's also shifting, and it's also um it's not permanent. It's always shifting. It's dynamic. It's changing. Consciousness changes all the time. So how can you expect yourself to be, what's the first rule of Buddhism? The first teaching of Buddhism, the first teaching is that the most basic teaching is nothing is permanent. That's true. Consciousness is not permanent. Everything is temporary. So within consciousness or consciousness, the forms of consciousness, it's always changing. Consciousness is dynamic. That's the first thing that you have to understand about consciousness. It's not rigid, it's dynamic. That's why everything changes. That's why people die. That's why um, animals die, because nothing is permanent. So yeah, I'm gonna say, like, if you are an audience of Actualizer.org, like, if you have listened to a lot of his stuff, if you have been listening to Actualizer.org for years, this Actualized Clips channel is now best for us Actualized.org listeners, because in the clips, what you can do, um because you already know where Leo is coming from and where what all this stuff means. So this clips is kind of a reminder for us to stay focused, because the problem with the world is that you're gonna get distracted, and you're gonna, there are so many distractions in this world, right? So you're gonna get distracted. But this actualizer clips, or any, like, doesn't have to be actualized.org. You can listen to Sadhguru and keep your mentality in check, and you can listen to different spiritual videos. Short spiritual videos are best for us, because it'll keep us in the loop, because we already know this stuff. This, once you have realized God, there's nothing really to know, because God is so basic and fundamental, is that you're going to forget about it because it's so basic. You're like, what is God? Oh, you're God. Didn't you hear that you're God? Oh, I'm God. That's it. End of story. You're God. So what's there to understand? But the fact is that it's so simple, you're going to forget. And then you're going to be doing random nonsense, like building nuclear bombs and threatening other countries that if you try to take my power, I'm going to blow your country with nuclear weapons. That is what you're going to do if you're not conscious, if you forget that you're God. Because if you just, somebody reminded you that you're God, that, and the other country that you're threatening with nuclear weapons, that's also you're threatening yourself with nuclear weapons, then you will realize that it's so stupid to threaten anyone with anything, with any weapons. And so you got to stop doing stupid. See, if you if you remind yourself daily that you're God, what will happen is you're going to probably prevent yourself from doing stupid things, which 99% of human beings do their entire life. They just do stupid things, um, and they waste their life in the process. But see, no life is really wasted. Again, wasting a life is a relative notion. Nobody really wastes their life. It doesn't matter. I mean, let's say you don't care about God. Let's say you're an atheist or you're a religious person and you think that Islam is the truth and everything, whatnot. Nobody wastes their life. Is all I'm saying, that it's more valuable to live a life which is closer to truth. The more aligned your life is with the truth, uh, the more enjoyable, really, and the more satisfaction, your satisfaction level goes up when you're living a life that is more aligned. See, you can choose to be a dictator. You can choose to be like Vladimir Putin, right? What is his objective of life? His objective of life is to uh, capture Ukraine and bring back the old Mother Russia, the USSR, Soviet times, whatnot, right? He wants to capture all the small nations and see every dictatorship. What do they ultimately want? They want world dominance. They want nothing to exist that is different from their notions. So, someone like from Kim Jong Un, right? If you ask Kim Jong Un, what is your ultimate dream? He would say that his ultimate dream is to create a world where everything is North Korea. Everything is according, like he would be the supreme leader. His vision, like, what do you think his dream is when he's sleeping at night? What does he dream about? He dreams about a world where there's no United States, there's no India, there's no Russia. Everything is North Korea. Everything is his regime. He is the supreme leader of not North Korea, but he's the supreme leader of the entire world. And that is what every dictator's dream about. That is what every dictator dreams about. Um, because they're disconnected from the truth, because they're disconnected from universal consciousness. Their consciousness is so limited that they cannot see the entire picture of what they are the entire universe. If they're not able to see that, then obviously they're gonna do stupid things. But the point is that even if you're someone like Kim Jong Un, or if you're the Russian dictator, doesn't matter. I mean, nobody's really wasting their life, but like I said, it's more enjoyable. You're gonna have a more satisfying experience of this human life if you're closer to the truth rather than being farther away of truth and being deep down in deception and propaganda and stuff like that. So avoiding propaganda and staying away from deception, you're going to be more happy. You're going to be more happy. That's it. That's really why it's worth it to do consciousness work. It's going to make you happy because you now know that this is the truth. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching. And I don't know how many people honestly watched the entire video, but hey, if you did, man, thanks a lot. It means a lot because I have a small channel, but I have a lot to say. I'm a small, ambitious YouTuber, let's just say, or an ambitious person. Not even ambitious. I'm just passionate about this. And you can clearly tell from my approach to this episode, this video particularly. I'm just passionate about this stuff. Yeah. Anyways, take care. God bless. Or because you're God, right? So bless yourself. Anyways, jokes aside, and nah, just don't get distracted and do consciousness work. Figure out what God is. Maybe, maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. Maybe I don't know anything about God, right? So, but God, what I'm saying is, the pursuit of God is the most valuable thing. If you, whatever, maybe you are God or you're not, doesn't matter. But from my point of view, you are God. Only God exists. But all I'm saying is that you have the pursuit of God is more important. You have to understand what God is like. You have to realize it. You have to realize what God is. And it's worth it. It's going to be awesome realizing what God is. So yeah, take care.